glad that you all are here, and I hope that you'll benefit from hearing a little bit about the project that I am excited to share with you all. You need me to talk a little bit louder?
Much louder.
I'm happy to. Much louder. Okay. I've been teaching online and working in online programs for the last few years, and I love teaching in the classroom, but it's been a couple years since I've actually done it, so I have to get my teacher's voice back, you know. So, okay. If just put your thumb up if you can't hear me, and I'll try to raise my voice a little bit more. So, I'm Preston Davis, and I'm Director of Instructional Services for Northern Virginia Community College. We are a very large institution just outside of Washington, D.C. We serve over 70,000 students with over 25,000 students taking online courses. And one of the things that I wanted to do was reach an audience of students that we knew would sometimes struggle when they were coming into the community college. And so we set up a project that would allow us to offer some gateway general education courses to a number of students without them having to purchase textbooks. So a little background of why I kind of took this on. Part of it comes from my own undergraduate experience, which was a few years ago, but I was one of those students who did not purchase all of my textbooks simply because I had a set amount of funds, and the textbooks for the semester often exceeded the amount of money that I had to spend. So I had to choose which textbooks to buy and which textbooks not to buy. And that's not something that I want students to have to go through. Another is my teaching experience. I teach philosophy courses, and a lot of the people that I talk about are long gone. And many of their works are in the public domain. And from my own teaching experience, before OER, before I was even aware of what the term OER meant, I was teaching using resources that were freely available to students so that they didn't have to go out and buy sort of an anthology that someone pieced together of free material. I would just provide that material to those students, and we would discuss them in an applied manner. I also involved myself with our college's contract with our bookstore and making sure that we put in verbiage that protected free and open content so that that was not something that the bookstores would interfere with us as an institution offering to students. Finally, publishers changing editions. We were finding that faculty were having to revise their courses each year because the textbooks were changing at that significant pace. And that was putting a lot of pressure on our instructional designers and our faculty. And so this was a way that we could circumvent some of those issues and problems that we were facing. Finally, as an institution in the Virginia Community College system, I received some grant funding to help get this project off the ground, thanks to Richard. And finally, with our mission at the community college system and at NOVA, really wanting to work to increase access, affordability, and ultimately affect student success. So, the goals of the project. Right now, we are piloting 12 general education courses, and these courses are currently underway. We have 51 sections of the courses currently being taught this semester. We want to generate some buzz. We want faculty to become aware of what open educational resources are, how faculty can use educational resources in their courses, and we want students to understand what open educational resources are, because we think that if students are aware, they may be able to drive some of the development themselves by, in a sense, creating a demand for these free courses, or the materials in these courses. And this will reach our goals of making the courses more accessible and more affordable to learners at NOVA and throughout the system in general. because we want to be able to share these courses with other community colleges in the state. So these are the courses that we currently are running. English, math, natural science, history, humanity, arts courses. This History 262 course is a new course that we developed on the history of film, and it uses film, which is a really interesting concept, in our student development course. So students have the option to take all of these courses that use open educational resources and do not require students to purchase textbooks and earn their general education certificate, which they're transferable courses to four-year institutions, and it meets the first year requirement of the Associates in Science degree in General Studies. Or if students are pursuing a specific degree in information technology or in some other area, but they have some of these courses that they want to take, they can take one course, two courses, or the entire certificate. We want it to be as flexible as possible for students so that we have the opportunity to impact the largest number of students possible at the college. So, big key was getting faculty involved. And we were fortunate in that we had a good number of faculty who had already been using supplemental materials in their courses that were free. Because we work predominantly with online students know how to access information, and we can offer students access to information through a variety of channels, whereas students who are coming into a traditional classroom may be more used to having that textbook and the resources giving to them in the classroom. So the faculty have been going out there and engaging students and sending them links, and we want to increase the whole idea of information literacy at the college. And so working with this group of faculty members who we knew were using free materials, at least supplementary materials in their courses, that their courses were good quality courses. Students liked their courses. They've been teaching at the college for quite some time. They had an understanding of online pedagogy. We wanted to make sure that they were able to deliver engaging courses to their students. And understanding that they were willing to learn more about open educational resources and really rely on those as the content, not just a supplemental piece, but the content of the course. So we provided some stipends to help the faculty members develop the new versions of these courses, because they were going to have to redo the course content outlines to make sure that the content that they were replacing, the textbooks that they were replacing with the online or other materials that were free and openly licensed, would meet the student learning outcomes. We also involved a team of resources that I have. We have a librarian who works with our online faculty, who curates open educational resources and puts on OER workshops for faculty, and helps to educate faculty on what good resources are, where to find them, and how to incorporate them in the courses in an engaging way. Also, instructional designers. We want to make sure that our courses follow certain standards of delivery, and so our instructional design team works with the faculty to help the faculty who are the content experts take the material and present it in an engaging way to the students online. And so between this whole team effort, we are going to pilot the courses this semester, get some data, some feedback from these courses, and we figure there'll be a few adjustments that we will want to make. But then we are going to license these courses and make the courses available to everyone. It's important for us to collect some data and to see what the courses are and see what, if any, changes we need to make so that we feel like what we're sharing is something that can be repurposed and reused, and we feel good about it. I already feel good about it, but it's just that extra step to make sure that we are doing our due diligence to make sure that these are quality courses. So we use a team design approach. And these are some of our folks that actually worked on this project. I helped to get the pieces together, but these were the folks that were really rolled up their sleeves and did the hard work. They carried the load here. And that's actually our librarian, Natalie, and instructional designer, Jason, along with a faculty member sitting behind the computer who was developing one of our English courses that we are currently offering this semester. And so we worked together in a team effort. Folks were able to come in and have workshops, have individual sessions working with our staff members, or were able to just collaborate online and other ways to put the materials together that they needed to. And the idea was to work not only on the content, but make sure that the assessments were a piece that were able to be incorporated in this, because that was one of the biggest challenges, I think, is a lot of folks are willing to use different materials, but folks are oftentimes relying on assessment tools that are provided, and they had to get more involved in creating appropriate assessment tools. And so we wanted to make sure that we were offering assistance in that regard as well. And so our librarian has created a site for our faculty members that curates material that they're able to use. She's very active in working to identify databases, identify materials and things that can be made available. In some cases, some of the content may be material that our libraries are making available to students, but most of the material that we have is material that's CC BY or freely available public domain material that anyone at any institution could use and incorporate in their courses. And we're going to actually take this a step further and create a site on our website that's a general faculty information and a student information site, because we want our students to understand what these courses are and what it means, because when they understand the cost savings, I think that's going to really translate into student demand for our OER versions of these courses. So this is the cost of the textbooks in the courses that we have been working on. And so what I have here is the cost new and used. And I will say that we calculated the average cost based on the cost of new textbooks in the courses, because we were finding that so often students either were not able to buy used textbooks because the edition had changed and only new textbooks were available for many of these courses. So the average textbook savings, if you look at the cost new, was $185 per course. And if they were able to get used textbooks, then the cost savings was around $120, which is still significant, particularly if students are taking multiple courses. So, if a student was to take the entire OER General Ed Certificate program, they would save over $1,800 based on the cost of new textbooks in the courses that we are offering that use those textbooks. We actually got that figure from the cost of the actual textbooks used in either the previous version of the course, or if there is a course that is being offered concurrently that uses a traditional textbook, the cost of the current course offering with the traditional textbook. So the semester, pilot semester, based on the enrollment figures from September, we saved students over $140,000. Now we offer late registration sessions online. We have some 8-week courses, and some of those courses are actually not in that $140,000 figure because we didn't add those enrollments in, because the enrollment registration period just ended before I came out here. So I expect that that number will be in excess of $150,000 by the end of the semester. And that's the savings for just this pilot semester alone in terms of what our students are realizing from not having to purchase textbooks in these courses. And by offering more sections of these courses in the spring and beyond, the savings is going to continue to rise. And not only that, we're planning on offering a secondary development of 10 more courses, which will lead to the availability of students to complete the entire Associate of Science degree in General Studies, taking all OER-based courses. And so that's sort of the next phase that we are about to undertake once we wrap up this pilot and synthesize the data and do what we need to do to get those courses sort of more out there and open to everyone else. And so we are starting to see more faculty asking about this as they hear about their colleagues running some of these courses and what their experiences are going to be at the end of this first semester. I'm going to share this at a workshop for faculty at the college to hopefully get more faculty interested in kind of taking the leap and saying, you know, if I put in a little bit of effort now, it'll prevent me from having to continue to update my courses every year, and it'll save our students money. And ultimately, that's very important, particularly at the community college level. And so we expect that, you know, the courses will be more affordable. I think the fact that we've already saved students $140,000, that already has proven to be true. But really, we think that student success rates are going to improve. You know, when everyone in the course is on an even playing field, and you don't have students who are not purchasing their textbooks because they can't afford to, and are automatically at a disadvantage to other students in the classroom, we're taking that away. And we're making sure that everyone has a fair shot and everyone has equal access to the materials necessary to be successful in the course. Now, the rest is up to the student. But if everyone has an equal opportunity to have access to the material, then I think we're doing our job. And I feel that we have a responsibility to students to do that. And I'm very happy that this project is a small way that we are moving in that direction, and the fact that we're going to continue it in a phase 2 over the next year, and then slowly build out more offerings as faculty come to us and say, I want to make my course open to students by using free content that's available. I think it's going to make a big difference to our students. So, I wanted to make sure that I had time to answer questions. So I think I've timed it perfectly to give 5 minutes for question and answer. So first, back here.
So are you marketing this to the students in that fashion? This is an OER-based path that will save you money, and sort of show it that way in the kind of catalog of courses? Great
question. We did not do that for the pilot semester, but we will do that for the subsequent semester. Our registration period for the spring is just about to start, and we're going to go in and put some identifiers in. Some of the students who register really early may not realize what they are. We're going to use social media and other stuff within the college to kind of notate what it means and to tell students to look out for this indicator when you register, because what it means to you as a student is you're not going to have additional costs beyond the tuition for that course.
Right here. So are these courses available for people who are outside of the community college? Can they take it, and if so, can they receive credit?
Right now, these courses are only available for students at Nova. Now, because we are an open admission community college, any student could come into the college and take the courses, but they are credit courses at Northern Virginia Community College. We are the online unit that some of the smaller institutions in the state of Virginia use to offer some online courses to their students if they don't have the infrastructure to have an online program themselves. And so, starting in the spring semester and beyond, many of these courses will be available to our partner institutions. So there's 13 community colleges in Virginia that could have their students enroll in these courses and take an OER-based course and save the money off of their textbooks. And we think that when some of these courses may be needed at some of those other institutions, that the sections that are OER would be the ones that those institutions would want to choose to save their students some money.
I know it's probably early. Do you have any indication students' success rate improve? I mean, right now probably don't have great, but the withdrawal rate, does the withdrawal rate reduce or improve?
There was no, when we looked at the first set of withdrawal dates for the 16-week courses and the first 8-week session, there was no significant difference between the rate of withdrawal for that semester, for this semester, versus the fall semester a year ago. The numbers were fairly even, but that's still the first session, and it's a little bit tricky because students will drop a course and add a later section a lot of times, and it's very common for us, and so we really won't be able to get a full picture of that data and for probably another week or two, because now that our registration period has ended, when I get back, we will start to pull all of that information and really get a accurate number of what that is. And then we're also doing, we're going to look at the success and completion rates of the courses and the student satisfaction survey results of those courses to make sure that they are leading to success and that students are having a positive experience in those courses.
Your slide before this one talked about using students to kind of drive further expansion of this idea into associate science. So how are you using students as kind of advocates?
That is what we're going to do after the pilot semester. So what we want to do is we wanted to kind of get a baseline of what the impact of these courses are, make sure that the satisfaction data and the success rates were where we needed to be so that we could intervene if there were a couple of courses that seemed to be problematic, that we could find out what the issue might be in those courses and then have some sort of intervention to fix those. And then we would feel very comfortable knowing that the courses were quality courses, and I feel that they are, but we just want to make sure. Then we're going to start this kind of marketing and promotion campaign throughout the college so that students will then sort of hopefully take the lead.
You spoke about how the librarians are involved. They do some level of curation. Can you speak a bit more about how crucial you see that as what their role in kind of helping shepherd the right material?
I work very closely with my librarian and just brought on a part-time librarian just because the demands on her were so significant. Now we have campus libraries, but she focuses on our online program and really is sort of the OER library lead at the college. And her and I work very closely together because it is so critical to, I think, the adoption and really the growth and continuation of incorporating open resources into any institutional program, because librarians are experts at finding good material, and we want to make sure that the material is good in quality and kind of passes muster in terms of being open and reliable. We want it to be something that can be used and not just disappear, but used for long term. One more question?
Yeah, first of all, I'm very impressed with your single librarian creating resources for all of those courses. I'm a librarian myself. Is that collection open?
We are going to make it open. Again, this is our pilot semester, and so we just need some time. Putting this and planning this was quite an effort, particularly since this is not my only sole responsibility at the college. But yes, that is the goal. But we wanted to be very upfront and say this is a pilot going on this semester. We've got to collect some data. We've got to then work through the process of putting things out there in the appropriate way, and that's absolutely something that we're going to do. Okay. I will be happy to stick around and answer any more questions, but thank you very much.